Hello everyone, my name is Mary Hernandez, and for my reflection video project, I will be focusing on the topic of positive psychology and Buddhist psychology in relation to children who are orphans or come from unhealthy families. I will also be discussing the similarities and differences between some of the personality theories that we have covered in class and the concepts that the Dalai Lama touched upon in his speech titled The Seeds of Love and Compassion. Positive psychology focuses on aiding the individual to develop a healthy lifestyle and mindset in order to achieve a greater level of happiness and satisfaction with their lives. Positive psychology emphasizes the positive thoughts and actions in all aspects of life will lead to the unlocking of the true potential of the human personality. Much like Maslow's theory of self-actualization, positive psychology also places emphasis on immediate experiences as the source for healthy functioning. But unlike Maslow's theory, positive psychology boasts an expansion of scientific research into its findings. The results of positive psychology can be tested and measured, and thus the practice has gained validity and recognition throughout the years. There are 3 different factors that create the foundation for positive psychology: positive subjective experiences, positive traits, and positive institutions. Positive subjective experiences are used to measure the level of happiness and satisfaction that a person has with their lives. A higher level of happiness and satisfaction is indicative of better mental and physical health, socially responsible behavior, and higher productivity in the workplace. In relation to children who are orphans or come from unhealthy families, it can be said that a positive psychologist would suggest for the child to focus more on other aspects of their lives which provide happiness and satisfaction, such as getting good grades in school or doing a good deed for someone else. These aspects of life have intrinsic value and can give the child a higher sense of worth and increase their self-esteem. Positive traits are traits that promote optimism in life and positive reframing, which is the ability to turn a negative event into a positive one. Such traits include courage, justice, humanity, temperance, wisdom, and transcendence. Positive traits also improve resiliency, which is the strength that a person demonstrates during a stressful event and their ability to diminish the negative effects of those events. A positive psychologist would suggest to an orphan child or a child that comes from an unhealthy family to place more emphasis on their individual strengths and virtues and also focus on finding a meaning to their lives. Optimism can be a powerful force in improving a child's outlook on their lives as well. When children feel helpless or afraid, they tend to become stagnant in their development and do not learn how to properly deal with stressful life situations. This can cause severe setbacks in the improvement of a child's mental and physical health. Positive institutions are places such as the workplace or school which provide the individual with a source of support in order to continue developing their resiliency. Positive psychology suggests that children who are orphans or come from unhealthy families should become more involved in their jobs and their education. Work and school can provide a higher sense of community as one group of people work together towards a common goal. Teachers, counselors, and supervisors who portray positive traits can also help children develop positive mindsets, which will eventually lead to personal growth and the achievement of happiness and satisfaction with their own lives. Buddhist psychology, much like positive psychology, promotes positive emotional and spiritual change as a source for growth and development. Buddhist psychology focuses on accepting that suffering is a part of life and letting go of that suffering through the cessation of craving things in life that one cannot obtain, and also becoming a less aggressive and more compassionate person. If one cannot let go of their suffering, the path to nirvana, or enlightenment, is blocked, and the individual will never achieve this state. The goal of Buddhist psychology is to decrease the individual's personal suffering and increase their level of compassion towards others. A central concept of Buddhist psychology is compassion, or empathy, which occurs as a result of the realization that we are not separate from each other as human beings. Another central concept of Buddhist psychology is the idea that we are constantly changing and there is never permanent, a stable form of the self. The main point of Buddhist psychology is to discipline the mind in order to control one's behavior. If a person can manage to control selfish and aggressive thoughts, their path to becoming a compassionate individual will be made clear. In relation to children who are orphans or come from unhealthy families, a Buddhist psychologist would suggest that children cease to crave the things that they cannot have in life, such as the comfort of having compassionate parents or a warm and loving home. A Buddhist psychologist would also suggest that children focus on leaving their thoughts of hatred towards their parents, or lack thereof, behind. Such negative thoughts can lead to a block in the child's development. As change is central to the Buddhist psychology, a child that cannot change can never grow as an individual. Being an orphan child or a child that comes from an unhealthy family can have immense negative setbacks on a child's personality development. The most prominent example is a lack of compassion and empathy towards others as a result of never having been taught what compassion and empathy signify. Children in these situations often tend to be more pessimistic, aggressive, anxious, and scared. These types of children do not learn how to properly deal with stressful life situations, and as a result, they more commonly fall prey to certain maladaptive behaviors, such as substance abuse and self-harm, in order to be able to cope with their lives. In the speech, The Seeds of Love and Compassion, the Dalai Lama begins by stating that human beings are entirely dependent upon others' care, specifically their mother's care. A human's first happy experience in life is through the mother. They are not aware of their relationship to the mother, but regardless develop a sense of trust with the mother and have a feeling of joyfulness upon feeling the mother's care and affection. He believes that a person who receives the most amount of affection and love in their childhood become much more stable and secure and happy adults, as opposed to children that were given little affection and attention, who later become insecure and anxious adults and also develop mental and physical problems. The Dalai Lama explains that the seed of compassion, which connects us all, blooms when a person lives in a home built upon friendship, trust, and affection. A home that is full of hatred, greed, and jealousy can never experience peace and happiness. Finally, he talks about scientific findings which show that constant fear, anger, and hatred can actually diminish the efficacy of a person's immune system. He refers to one doctor in particular who explained that a deep sense of insecurity, anxiety, and loneliness can cause blood pressure to increase, thus putting people who use the words I, me, and mine often at greater risk for heart attacks. The concepts that the Dalai Lama covers in his speech can be related to some of the personality theories that we've covered in class. The first theory that I will be comparing and contrasting to the Dalai Lama speech will be Adler's theory of individual psychology. Adler believed that health involved love, work, and social interaction, and that social interest, rather than selfishness, is required for health. Much like Adler, the Dalai Lama emphasized a greater sense of family and community, and expressed that compassion and empathy for others was the key to happiness and a healthy life. However, the Dalai Lama placed little importance on school and work as the source of this social interest, as he explained that although his parents were illiterate and uneducated, they instilled this sense of compassion and caring for others in him at an early age. The second theory that I will be comparing and contrasting to the Dalai Lama speech will be Horney's theory of interpersonal psychoanalysis. Horney believed that love and nurturance are key to a child's development, and that without adequate parental love, a child will develop anxiety and hostility. Similar to Horney's ideas, the Dalai Lama expressed that children who receive a greater amount of affection and care develop into more stable, secure, and happy adults. Unlike Horney, who believed that a healthy person had balanced levels of compliance, aggression, and detachment, the Dalai Lama expressed that compassion was the true road to happiness in life. He believed that people should have more of a collectivistic mindset and should be more inclined to do for others than for themselves. Finally, the third theory that I will be comparing and contrasting to the Dalai Lama speech will be Maslow's need hierarchy theory. Maslow believed that self-actualized people showed a greater sense of interpersonal relationships. Self-actualized people are capable of greater love and less arbitrary boundaries with others. The Dalai Lama also believes that a mature adult should demonstrate compassion towards all members of society. He used the example of his mother in his speech, who gave him unconditional love, but also had a keen affection towards beggar children who lived in the streets. She provided them with food and cared for them. However, Maslow explains that individuals have different skills and interests, so factors that promote self-actualization will be different for every person. The Dalai Lama says in his speech that compassion is the only unifying factor in human beings, and through compassion for the self and others, self-actualization can be achieved. Here are the references which I have used in this project. They are the video of the speech by the Dalai Lama, titled The Seeds of Love and Compassion, and the Theory of Personality textbook by Cloninger, which is used in the course. Thank you.